1. Jannik Sinner's Wimbledon victory, the key to his success revealed. 2. Jannik Sinner, a controversial Wimbledon champion. 3. Epic tennis rivalry. Sinner vs. Alcaraz road to Wimbledon 2025 and future of tennis. 4. Wimbledon 2025, the rise of Sincaraz, Alcaraz vs. Sinner. 1. Jannik Sinner's Wimbledon victory, the key to his success revealed. Imagine witnessing a match where the outcome seems almost predetermined, yet the nuances of strategy and skill make all the difference. This was the case when Jannik Sinner triumphed over Carlos Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final, and tennis legend Jimmy Connors has some intriguing insights into why Sinner emerged victorious. Connors argues that the key to Sinner's success lay not in his powerful serve, which can reach speeds of 140 miles per hour, but rather in his exceptional ability to return serves effectively. In his podcast, Advantage, Connors, the former champion, remarked, "It's fascinating because everyone talks about the serve. Yes, Sinner has an incredibly fast serve, but what truly wins matches? That's what Sinner demonstrated in the final. His returns were executed with authority and intent. He wasn't just trying to get the ball in play. He was aiming to seize control and be aggressive. This is crucial in high-stakes matches like those at Wimbledon, the US Open, or the Australian Open if you want to defeat the top players." Supporting Connors' analysis, data from Tennis Abstract revealed that Sinner won 36% of his return points from the 121 serves he faced, totaling 44 points won on returns. Notably, he was particularly ruthless against Alcaraz's second serve, winning 21 out of 50 attempts. In contrast, Alcaraz managed to win only 31% of his return points. Connors further emphasized that Sinner and his team have developed a winning strategy. He stated, "They've figured out that Sinner is holding serve comfortably, so they decided to apply pressure on the return. This approach pays off in the long run. It might not show immediately, but when the match is tight, like at 1-set all in the third set, it becomes crucial." Sinner was aggressive and unafraid to capitalize on Alcaraz's second serve. Additionally, Connors raised an interesting point regarding the size of the entourages that modern tennis players, including Alcaraz, bring with them. He observed, "Before Alcaraz walked onto the court, I noticed he hugged 7 or 8 people. It made me think about how different things are now. Back in my day, my mother would tell me to just get out there and play. But now players have large teams, each with specific roles. While some might see this as a distraction, others view it as a necessary support system." This raises a thought-provoking question. Do these large entourages enhance a player's performance, or do they create unnecessary distractions? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. 2. Jannik Sinner, a controversial Wimbledon champion. Jannik Sinner's doping suspension casts a shadow over his Wimbledon triumph. Jannik Sinner stands as a champion with a complicated legacy, yet his mental strength is undeniable. Just 5 weeks after experiencing what many consider the most thrilling Grand Slam final in history against Carlos Alcaraz in Paris, Sinner summoned an incredible depth of determination. He managed to come back from a set down to defeat Alcaraz once again, making history as the first Italian man to lift the prestigious Wimbledon trophy, the Golden Challenge Cup. The scene was heartwarming. A 23-year-old achieving his dreams in front of his emotional mother, Sieglinde, receiving a lifetime membership to the All England Club, and sharing a moment with the Princess of Wales while signing tennis balls for her children. However, amidst this joyous occasion, a significant issue loomed large: the legitimacy of Sinner's participation in the tournament, given his recent 3-month ban for testing positive for the banned steroid clostebol. Nick Kyrgios, a finalist from 3 years prior, quickly expressed his opinion on social media, posting a simple asterisk as a statement. While Kyrgios's comments are often seen as the musings of a disgruntled player envious of others' success, this situation at Wimbledon was anything but ordinary. Both the men's and women's singles champions had faced drug bans within the last year, raising eyebrows and questions about the integrity of the sport. Tennis has been proactive in maintaining its integrity on various fronts. For instance, in 2022, players from Russia and Belarus were barred from competing at Wimbledon due to concerns about the political implications of their victories following the invasion of Ukraine. Yet, doping violations seem to provoke far less outrage. The champion's celebration on Sunday night honored Sinner, who had negotiated a reduced ban with the World Anti-Doping Agency (WADA), and IGA Swiatek, who had tested positive for trimetazidine, a prohibited heart medication. The awkwardness of the situation was palpable. During a Wimbledon final, the focus typically remains on the match itself, and for over 3 hours, Sinner's precise and relentless gameplay took center stage. He demonstrated an uncanny ability to quash any hint of a comeback from Alcaraz with a powerful second-serve ace. Sinner appears to be immune to the psychological scars that might haunt other players. Where many would struggle to recover from failing to convert 3 championship points at Roland Garros, Sinner transformed that pain into motivation, showing no signs of hesitation when faced with a similar opportunity at the next major event. However, there is a risk in interpreting Sinner's remarkable recovery from his French Open disappointment as a form of justification for his doping suspension. Some commentators have already begun to suggest this narrative. For example, after Sinner's impressive victory over Alexander Vukic in the second round, John McEnroe praised his ability to manage the stress of his 3-month absence. Similarly, Todd Woodbridge, a former Wimbledon doubles champion, highlighted Sinner's resilience in facing challenges both on and off the court. The tennis community seems more inclined to celebrate how the world number one has navigated a minor disruption to his schedule, rather than confront the critical issue of fairness in sports and its importance to public trust. Sinner has claimed that clostebol entered his system due to accidental contamination by a physiotherapist during a massage. While an independent tribunal accepted this explanation, WADA contested the ruling that he bore no fault or negligence. The principle of strict liability in anti-doping regulations holds that athletes are ultimately accountable for everything that enters their bodies, including substances introduced by their support teams. Ultimately, the 3-month ban Sinner received seemed almost too convenient. The timing of the suspension allowed him to avoid missing any major tournaments, ensuring that his number 1 ranking remained intact. In stark contrast, consider the harsh realities faced by lesser-known players. In 2022, Tara Moore from Britain tested positive for Bolden 1 and nandrolone. Although the International Tennis Integrity Unit later cleared her of wrongdoing, this decision came only after 19 months of professional and personal turmoil. Moore lamented, "It's going to take more than 19 months to rebuild, repair, and recuperate." This disparity is what truly frustrates Sinner. While his career has remained unscathed, others who have made similar mistakes have seen their livelihoods shattered. Is Sinner a champion with an asterisk? That's a provocative assertion. Yet, it's undeniable that his name, now etched on the most esteemed honors board in tennis, carries a significant amount of controversy. This victory was not just a testament to skill and endurance, but also to the influence of adept legal representation. What do you think? Should Sinner's achievements be viewed through the lens of his doping ban? Is there a double standard in how different players are treated? Share your thoughts in the comments. ***. Recommended. 3. Epic tennis rivalry. Sinner vs. Alcaraz road to Wimbledon 2025 and future of tennis. The rivalry between Alcaraz and Sinner is truly remarkable, and it's one that will be remembered for years to come. Recently, on July 13, 2025, at the prestigious Wimbledon tournament in England, Jannik Sinner, currently ranked as the world's best tennis player, secured a thrilling victory over Carlos Alcaraz. The match ended with scores of 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, and 6-4, marking Sinner's first title at Wimbledon and his 4th Grand Slam overall. This win came as a form of redemption for Sinner, who had faced a heart-wrenching defeat just a month earlier in the French Open final. In that matchup, he had held 3 opportunities to close out the match against Alcaraz but ultimately lost in a gripping 5-set battle. Alcaraz entered this Wimbledon final with aspirations of becoming only the 5th player in the Open era to achieve the remarkable feat of winning Wimbledon consecutively for 3 years. Although he took an early lead by winning the first set, Sinner soon outclassed him, becoming the first Italian player to claim this illustrious title. This victory broke a 6-match losing streak for Sinner against Alcaraz and narrowed the head-to-head record to 8-5 in favor of Alcaraz. Excitingly, both players are now tied at 1-1 in Grand Slam finals, clearly establishing themselves as dominant figures in men's tennis today. Let's delve into what makes this rivalry so captivating. #elevating each other's gameplay. An essential element of any great rivalry is how competitors push each other to enhance their skill level, and Alcaraz and Sinner exemplify this perfectly. Watching them engage in intense rallies is reminiscent of the classic video game Pong, where momentum intensifies with every stroke, making the match increasingly exhilarating. These two athletes have demonstrated some breathtaking shot-making. Sinner's between-the-legs half-volley during the final was a standout moment, while Alcaraz showcased his versatility with a spectacular stretch that allowed him to execute a slice backhand pass. In fact, 3 of their 4 Grand Slam encounters have gone the distance, with their recent final at Roland Garros already being hailed as one of the greatest matches of all time. Both players have expressed how their rivalry has spurred them to improve. Alcaraz commented, "I'm thrilled that we can cultivate such a strong relationship off the court while also creating a fierce rivalry on it that motivates me to get better every day." ##### Dominance in major tournaments. Historically, the tennis world has seen periods of domination by players such as Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal. From 2004 through the end of the 2020 French Open, the trio claimed an astounding 65 out of 77 major titles, defining an era of excellence in the sport. In contrast, while Alcaraz and Sinner are still at the beginning of their careers, they have now seized the last 7 Grand Slam titles between them, with Sinner winning 4 and Alcaraz winning 3. Given the nature of tennis, it's clear that the landscape can change quickly, with emerging talents like Joao Fonseca possibly contending with them in the near future. However, as it stands today, it's challenging to envision anyone else capturing Grand Slam titles unless this dynamic duo faces injury or setbacks. #### A clash of unique styles. While Alcaraz and Sinner share mutual respect and friendship, their playing styles are sufficiently distinct to ensure every matchup is loaded with excitement. Alcaraz brings flair with his charming ground strokes and charisma, whereas Sinner is known for his powerful and poised game, reflecting an unwavering demeanor. This divergence creates a thrilling spectacle. When Alcaraz charges the net, Sinner often retaliates with a deft passing shot, while a well-placed drop shot from Alcaraz is usually met with Sinner's strong, grounded response. Their matchups not only showcase their tenacity but also the different approaches each athlete brings to the game. #### The future of their rivalry. As we ponder the historical significance of their rivalry, it's hard not to compare it to legendary pairings like Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert, who faced each other an astonishing 80 times, 60 of which were finals. While Sinner and Alcaraz may not reach such lofty numbers, both players are equally adept on all surfaces, suggesting their head-to-head meetings for greatest titles will persist for many years ahead. A rivalry thrives only when both players continue to achieve success. Thus, Sinner's recent triumph was crucial in this regard, breaking a run of 5 consecutive defeats to Alcaraz and bringing the rivalry closer together at 8-5. Nearly every time they meet, it feels like a classic battle is unfolding, and if they keep progressing like the greats, we are bound to witness even more riveting encounters. What do you think? Are we on the brink of a new legendary rivalry in tennis, or is it too soon to make that call? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. 4. Wimbledon 2025, the rise of Sincaraz. Alcaraz vs. Sinner. Wimbledon in the era of Sincaraz. In the world of tennis, merely winning is not sufficient. The expectation is to maintain that winning streak. Even being hailed as the greatest player of all time does not guarantee your legacy, as new talents are always emerging. In early June, Carlos Alcaraz delivered a performance for the ages at the French Open, securing the championship title. Just 5 weeks later, he found himself at Wimbledon, facing Jannik Sinner, the very player who had come close to defeating him. Center court at Wimbledon stands as a testament to tradition and the cyclical nature of the sport. As Sinner and Alcaraz stepped onto the grass on that Sunday afternoon, they entered a realm shadowed by the 4 legendary players who had come before them, collectively boasting 69 Grand Slam titles. Just as those champions were influenced by their predecessors, Sinner and Alcaraz had claimed the last 6 Grand Slam titles, and on that day, one of them was destined to secure the 7th. The audience, adorned in blazers and mid-calf-length dresses, embodied a nostalgic homage to the past. At one point, the match was interrupted when a champagne cork unexpectedly landed on the court. The umpire humorously requested the crowd to refrain from popping bottles during the players' serves. It was a light-hearted moment, only at Wimbledon. Yet it felt somewhat out of sync with the gravity of the competition unfolding on the court. The spectators anticipated nothing short of a historic encounter, a match that would rival the thrilling contest just a month prior. This was an immense challenge, even for 2 athletes well-versed in handling pressure. For a significant portion of the first set, the quality of play was commendable but lacked the extraordinary flair expected at such a prestigious event. However, as the set drew to a close, an astonishing sequence of shots unfolded. Facing a set point at 4-5, Sinner delivered a powerful serve, followed by a wide forehand that drew Alcaraz toward the sidelines. Alcaraz responded with a deep defensive shot, quickly regaining his footing and maneuvering around his backhand to strike a forehand down the line. While it was a solid shot, it opened up the court for Sinner, who capitalized with a low, flat cross-court shot. Alcaraz slid across the grass, executing a defensive forehand slice, and somehow managed to recover to the center of the baseline. Sinner then cleverly wrong-footed him with his next shot. Yet, Alcaraz, maintaining a low stance, balanced gracefully on the grass while exerting effort, and struck a forehand sharply across the court. Sinner was poised to deliver a running forehand down the line, a winning shot in any other context, but not in this moment. Alcaraz sprinted and slid to intercept the ball, which was already behind him, but with remarkable strength and wrist control, he sent the ball fluttering over the net, landing softly on the bounce. Set to Alcaraz. On set point in the second set, it was Sinner's turn to conjure a miracle, a running forehand struck with such power and precision that I couldn't help but exclaim in awe. This rivalry encapsulates two distinct styles: Alcaraz's creative and improvisational flair versus Sinner's formidable technical prowess. The match felt so natural that it seemed almost predestined. However, the outcome was less dramatic. The superior player emerged victorious. Sinner's relentless ground strokes and the velocity of his shots began to push Alcaraz away from his unpredictable rhythm into a more conventional style. Alcaraz's first serve, which had shown improvement, began to falter, allowing Sinner to capitalize on the returns. Conversely, Sinner's serves became increasingly accurate, sending clouds of chalk dust into the air as they grazed the lines. His eventual victory, with a score of 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4, marked his first win against Alcaraz since 2023, and it began to feel increasingly inevitable. It was a clinical performance, though not devoid of beauty. Sinner possesses the height and elegance reminiscent of an NBA guard. His movements exhibit a fluidity that complements his composed demeanor. Alcaraz, on the other hand, plays in bursts, and together, they create a captivating dynamic. Alcaraz showcases a wide array of shots, powerful ground strokes, and delicate drop shots. However, the drop shot on that Sunday lacked the spontaneous brilliance it can sometimes display, perhaps dulled by Sinner's courage and skill. At the conclusion of the match, Sinner appeared as much relieved as he was joyful, maintaining his characteristic calm. This tournament had been peculiar, oscillating between moments of brilliance and disappointment. Many top players were eliminated before the second week, falling prey to the unpredictable nature of the slick grass, the competitive depth of the tour, and, in some instances, their own struggles. Some express feelings of despair, trapped in the relentless cycle of the tour where finding meaning can be elusive. Even the best must learn to cope with disappointment. "Losing sucks, you know," remarked Aryna Sabalenka, the top-ranked female player, after her semi-final loss to Amanda Anisimova. "You always feel like you want to die, you don't want to exist anymore, and this is the end of your life." In sports, there exists a long-standing tradition of being propelled by a fear or aversion to that feeling of loss. Yet, the finalists seem to be shielded from such a mindset. Anisimova had taken a significant break from the tour following her father's death and was grappling with severe burnout. By the time the 2024 Australian Open rolled around, shortly after her return, she found herself outside the top 500. Nevertheless, she spoke about how much more she relished the game now. Iga Swiatek's rise to dominance on grass came after she finally let go of her previous supremacy on clay, experiencing bewildering losses, and she has shared the joy of playing without the weight of expectations. Still, the high stakes were evident during the women's final, where Anisimova appeared overwhelmed by the enormity of the occasion, leading to Swiatek's swift victory of 6-0, 6-0 in under an hour. "I had a very tough loss in Paris," Sinner reflected after his victory on Sunday during the on-court ceremony. "But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how you win or lose in important tournaments. You just have to understand what you did wrong." Working on that, that's exactly what we did. We accepted the loss and kept pushing forward. And this is, without a doubt, why I'm holding this trophy here. This sentiment is a common refrain among athletes, yet Sinner seemed to genuinely embody it. He had narrowly escaped elimination in the quarterfinals when Grigor Dimitrov had taken the first two sets and was in control before suffering a pectoral injury. Sinner recognized his good fortune in that moment and did not take it lightly. The outcome is significant. One player walks away with the trophy while the other is left in anguish. The importance of success is so profound that it often feels necessary to validate our desire for it. Yet, witnessing Sinner and Alcaraz engage in such a remarkable display, pushing the boundaries of their capabilities, offered a glimpse into a different perspective on competition, a contest not driven by aggression or animosity, but by something transcendent, a shared experience that belongs to both competitors. Let the audience indulge in champagne, I mused. Just grant me this moment, which feels refreshingly new.